That's nasty. Down towards the south side, very, very far away from anything on the north. So if you're dropping El Pozo, Tierra Bronca, La Cobraria, horrible position. You're not going to be in a horrible spot if you grab yourself a GT20 Pro and outplay the rest, playing on the best.
Oh, that's right. You won't even care if you get a horrible playing path, because you'll be so good on the GT20 Pro, so good, exactly, that you would just embrace it and absolutely pop off in your games of PUBG Mobile. That's why we're always telling you about it. We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. And neither are the games until it's over. But that's in a while.
Yes, it is. They've got 2 days. 2 days. 2 long days. All right, okay, 2 long days of lovely PUBG Mobile action coming right at you here in Riyadh at the PUBG Mobile World Cup, at the Esports World Cup.
Oh yeah, that's right. A big old fixture. And some exciting games to get through. All of these teams gunning, of course, now to be in the runnings to actually have an opportunity to lift the trophy. If you haven't seen it, it is gorgeous. A fantastic way to commemorate the fact that you are the team that walks away as the #1 here at the PUBG Mobile World Cup, at the Esports World Cup.
I'd love to get my hands on that trophy. Unfortunately, I just do not have the PUBG Mobile chops on me to make it happen. But some of these teams, one of these teams will. A nice play path for the circle, I would say. I think most teams pretty okay with this one. The unfortunate nature of this is that a lot of teams are going to be bunched up very early on. You're likely going to see some early fights, some early engagements, some late looting in this game, which is always a bit awkward, right? You don't want to be late looting, late shopping. You know, you never get the right things.
No, you don't. That's the thing. You can have a shopping list, but usually it's kind of hard because it's like, you know, the shop's closing. You're like, oh,
it's nighttime. You're crazy.
I'll grab that. I'll grab a leek. I'll take the leek.
I don't need the leek.
It's kind of an onion. I'll take it home.
I guess I'm making a soup.
Yeah.
But really, you want to make a chicken dinner?
No, exactly. And that's the problem. You can't make a chicken dinner out of soup.
No, you cannot. Tiamba get themselves a glider. Okay, cool. I like it. Pretty quick. Get yourself in a position very nicely. And again, I think that this works out particularly because they can pick themselves with a nice spot over towards the north side of the circle, potentially in El Azahar. Pull up. Thank you. They can pick themselves up a nice... I think they just went for the ramp play. That was kind of cool, actually. I like that.
Momentum.
Yeah, a bit of momentum. So they went for a early shift up towards that north side, but it does mean the lads behind them might be able to loot one of the buildings closer in El Azahar. Whereas these boys will be able to go a bit further and loot elsewhere. So they're going to distribute the loot between themselves more evenly with that one because those two guys are going to get into El Azahar a little bit earlier. So I like that play. Alpha 7, on the other hand, they get all of El Pozo to themselves. This is a fantastic start for them to loot up the entirety of the stadium as well. Beautiful.
I've always found the glider noise incredibly satisfying. It's kind of like, you know, when you're trying to sleep and you want some kind of like nice hum in the background, like a fan on in the distance.
PUBG Mobile glider.
Imagine that.
Noise.
Like 10 hours of the glider.
Yeah.
Lo-fi remix through a bathroom door at a party.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd really like that.
Someone get on that. Tweet
your mate plays PUBG Mobile while you're trying to sleep in the other room.
Just an ambient PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's actually kind of genius.
I get that one made.
It's an untapped market.
It is.
An untapped market. This is potentially $1 million idea we've just given you.
Yeah.
So
learn PUBG Mobile in your sleep.
It's just your voice. And remember, guys, you want to loot
as frequently as possible, but not too frequently in the late game. You want to make sure that you're looking for your rotations. Are you asleep yet? Because I'm about to start reading a book.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
PUBG Mobile. How to.
PUBG Mobile.
With blank.
And you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that could be good. I'm imagining no one would listen to that.
I mean, well, maybe.
Potentially.
You never know. We'll demo it. We'll give it a go.
Yeah, we can
see if the people are interested. If not, we'll scrap it.
We'll invest some time into it.
Yeah.
I mean, DRX has certainly invested some time and in between the break, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I think they've done a lot of work to ensure they can get these big points. My main concern is whether they can continue into tomorrow. Because this feels like the guys in the desk highlighted. Great analysis, by the way. They were highlighting, look, between the group stage and now, there is a massive shift in the performance for this team. It's not a team that I would personally have pegged for a #1 position at this time of the day. But it is Tiamba. It's IWNRX, Kine, here, around the side. Hello!
Mate, that is a meaty one. That'll give you a rush of adrenaline. The door opens instantly. Big Papa Pump says hello.
Oh, he's teasing him.
Oh, he's baiting him off. Gets the
what?
first and the follow-up as well. Oh, he's raising absolute terror. Oh, mate. What a cheeky boy.
I mean, almost half the team there. The rest of his team was just not available. This was Tiamba, who obviously took the glider. That's Bond and NXC down. And IWNRX will pick themselves up a cheeky 2 points off the back of that. Yes, they're down to 3 players, but taking down Tiamba, who had the entirety of El Azahar to work with. What a great result that's been.
Losing Bond's a bit of a sight for sore eyes as well, man. Like, Bond was having some huge plays at this very event. He was able to pull out some smooth moves. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like 1v4, where effectively he was just the king of the castle.
He really was. Laying down the law. Getting some levies on the go. Very nicely done. Tiamba tries to escape. Wolf is taking some very over-aggressive shots. Tells Swain where they're coming. They try to isolate one player, and they do grab him. Zedwolf cannot spot him out, though. Swain had all the time in the world. Potentially peek over the edge there towards Shan. I mean, the call should have come back from Zedwolf, so sort of curious of how this has all gone down. A little bit wrong now for IWNRX, but both teams just sort of taking each other out.
Yeah, you're going to be sweating a bit on this one. The 1v2 is one thing, but then the longer the fight goes on, the more awkward it gets, especially with the zone starting to come in as well, and you're trying to fragment your mind between two sides of how you want to play this one, get away without it resulting in your team going down. Worse for wear out of this encounter. Zedwolf does link up. Him and Frozen on the move up. Monster trucks doing tricks.
Yep. The monster's got wings, apparently. Alpha 7 taking a shot there. That's onto Mafioso, who was pulling out some pretty clutch moves last game. Alula XIHC actually getting a bit of payback, but I think he's very much in a resible position here. McGrellin moves across. We'll pick that one up.
Okay. Bit of a reposition on the drop down. Alpha 7. Sniffing out the Lone Ranger, Godless, who moves into a different angle. He actually peeks from the back line just as you're going to reposition behind the rock, knowing he's now in a good spot to get an angle on you. Luckily, it's just a few bullets. It's not really going to have you too worried, as you can tuck back in, play with the squad from the elevated angle they've got, and have a good assess on where exactly Alula IHC now are. Oh, that's a nice tap in response, though. That's actually from Twisted Minds. Of course, it's obscure. It always is.
Yeah, he's very good at, like you said, getting these opening picks, Jackie. Revo taking heavy hits, and Zol will find that one. The original members of the IHC gang, all the way from Zeus. Creo looks to pick up Revo here. Surrounded by enemies. Mafioso scared to peek as the circle pops up towards El Pozzo. Despite all this, Alpha 7 had so much space to play. Yeah, now they're in a position that's worse for wears. And Team Liquid takes up the position. I believe that's Cardozen down. Unlikely he'll get back up on his feet as Regiosio will easily be able to pick that one up. I think he must have got spun out in the vehicle. So now it's 3 players for Team Liquid, but they are not unused to playing this. Since in the group stage, they were basically 3 the entire time, Jackie.
That is a good point. They were having to play effectively as a trio for an awful lot of those games. Now, this is the second time we've seen this in quick succession for the side of Reject. They detonated the vehicle onto Cardozen, then followed it up. Now they do the same thing over to DX Xavier, getting that one off from quite a substantial distance. The rest of Liquid are at least near each other. They have cover as well with the compound. Alpha 7, after their moves, still continue the fight they were stuck into previously, and it's Alex that's out of cover, now near the compound that Godless has grabbed himself. Basically a small layer of protection, with a smoke being the only thing that's given them a somewhat shroud.
Yeah, I think for Alex it's a very difficult spot to res. He has to technically push his way back, but there's going to be shots being sprayed through the smoke here, and yep, there you go. Korea will pick him up. In the meantime, Duello and Regi on the team of Reject are just tearing Team Liquid apart after they had a very strong position on the outside of the fields that sit on the south side of El Pozzo. So yeah, pretty frustrating position for Team Liquid to be in, considering they had what I would say a kind of a nice rotation in from that northern side. And there are so many teams down towards the south. If only we were able to keep maybe 3 or 4 members up there, potentially Team Liquid has a really, really good game. Off the back of their last one where they picked up 2nd place, this could have been a time to get the wheels moving.
Instead, it's just a little bit of looting for Reject. Swoop in, grab what you can, make out like bandits, and start to make your next move. Been choosing good fights that have worked for them so far from their position. Talon on screen as well. Their initial move, bit of a look over the lip, see if you could potentially find an opportunity to fight onto the 2 teams ahead of them, as they do spot out DRX and Alula IHC. IHC that have suffered heavy casualties in this one, in the fights they've been thrown into. A lot of damage, not much opportunity to restock the supplies they've had to use as well, so that could be a problem. At least for Demo, there's a fair few things in his backpack.
Smart rotate from Alpha 7. I like this actually from the team. You can see it on your screen right now up towards our northwest side. They know that El Pozo was fairly cleared. They haven't been up there in a little while, so potentially teams come through, but they understand where the playing path was. It was unlikely there's going to be too dramatic of a rotation up towards that north side, but they can really play off the back of this now. Potentially try and head over towards that slight western bit of the ridge side. I think they've played that many times in the past as well in some of their games, and they get a lot of success from the back of it. And because we do have the backside of that ridge kind of cut off by the circle itself, they can dominate from that position. I'm 100% sure of it. So for Alpha 7, this is a good game in the making. They just need to play smart going forward.
Is it something that's going to be able to repeat its way through them? That's the big old question. These were the connections from Reject that we saw popping up in the ELEM feed when there was a response back from Liquid, hoping to make up for the mistakes. But it only further pushed the issue.
Yeah.
Tongji Bao on screen here as well, and that's Power. They've been a little bit quiet into this one. Maybe we'll get a chance to see if they've got any moves. Flower taking heavy hits from the side as well. A lot of blitz down range. TJB, they're in a real of a rough spot here.
Yeah. You do have TJB just kind of sort of floating through the air there with Flower, dodging the bullets. A little bit ethereal. I mean, we'll get the heal off. Vehicle's slightly burning though, and I think it's a difficult decision to take that one onwards. We see this circle a lot though, don't we, Jackie? And this is the type of circle where most teams know exactly where to go. I mean, IWNRX currently playing up towards that high ground that sits over towards the ridge on the eastern side can be a decent spot. You do have to sit up there for a long time, so loot can be a little bit of a problem, but it's Alliance coming up towards Vampire, holding this spot all the way over on this southeast side.
Oh, mate, look at these nades. Everyone on Vampire priming them, getting ready to see if they can get that opening knockoff or at least slash damage to make it easier for the actual weapons up close. You got the push on the side from Tony K. It's a vertical angle that he needs to be aware of, and the nades bouncing in deal so much damage to ruin the opening ambit from Vampires, panicking in the corner, Stoned, firing out so many shots, but they close the gap by pushing on 2 separate positions. Sandwich him. Find that one for free. Is there any room to reply? It doesn't look like it, as Alliance compound crash pays off.
They just cut through them there easily. An Alliance, that looks a lot more like the Alliance we're used to in that group stage. Godless gets the bus back on 4 wheels, but yeah, that was a very nice push from Alliance. Much more what we expect from that team as well, so sort of unfortunate. We don't see that more often here in the main stage. There's still a chance here for Alliance to bring things back at the end of the day. Only 17 points. I mean, first place is DRX with 45, but they are very far ahead of most of the teams. Next circle will be a big one here. Are we going to shift up towards that northwest side, make things very uncomfortable in that fielded area, Jackie?
Oh, it's a good question. We're seeing how much damage can be done from Talon as well, mate. Up on the hill. Misery was the one that took the first pot shots when the bus was flipped. Did a nice load of damage. They healed themselves back up, but they're still inside of the zone. They've still got room to play with. Whereas the same cannot be said for Alula IHC. You have to once again play to get your teammate back on his feet. You know you're exposed from such a wide angle.
Goodness me. It's a surprise they actually got him back up on his feet. Honestly, Demo close to death there.
Yeah.
Which comes back from the brink like a revenant. Regiocio, what is Reject doing this game?
I don't know, they're just fighting.
I like it. I like it a lot. Power now on your screens versus TJB. Nades go over the top to instigate a fight here. Long's looking for some more, but he exposes himself to Alliance up on the top of the hill. Again, all these teams will have to move out. Power currently has that inside track, and we'll be waiting for a lot of these teams to come in, but it's whether they can actually withstand.
There you go.
With hand and withstand the brunt of the teams that be coming their way on that southeast side.
Well, as we've seen, heavy is the hand of Al-Haji. He's able to lay the smack down on anyone that gets close to him. Is this going to be a raw fight to be thrown into, though, as they make their move? Alliance, the pedal to the metal and close the gap over towards the zone. Liquid taking pot shots towards them. Power in a close second chasing, and TJB wait it out.
This is a full-on run coming through from both these teams. Now, I think that Team Liquid picks the right position in this building, but it's going to be a huge amount of teams coming in. The saving grace is the fact that there's two teams trying to fight this at the same time.
Oh yeah, they're getting thrown into the hell in the cell right now, and it seems like Al-Haji again is able to punish up close and aggressive with the shot. It's Team Liquid gone down early, out of commission, even though they had the pre-set up inside of the building, and now the nades are soaring into the compound, beating down on the confidence level of Power, as Alliance have so many to work with, and they are lighting it up.
Lots of nades going through here for Alliance. They got the full refresh over on Vampire, but they do lose one player in the process. This is not a bad position to play, gives them a lot of defense early in the game. Xavier goes for a crazy split. They're thinking this is going to end inside the field, and they're going to have all the positions to play from. They even got high ground on the eastern side. In comes TJB, though, looking for the fight here. But Al-Haji and Co holding them back.
That was TJB that waited. They bided their time up on the hill. They didn't follow suit when everyone went for the chase, the reposition into the zone. Here's the barrage of damage up close and personal, clearing out angles as they're able to strike back. Al-Haji, he's been so mean, so consistent with the DBS, cleaves his way through them. The butcher knife swinging. He gets himself in position for another one. A quick bandage, quick reset, goes for the swing. He wanted to take the fight to them, but he gets himself back into cover. TJB have to heal as well. Al-Haji could make a monumental play on this one.
Al-Haji all on his lonesome here versus the final member of TJB. It's only by himself. Al-Haji with the DBS. Looking to lay down the heavy hand. He can't make it though. And TJB will hold Power out. But that's the best we've seen them in a while. In the meantime, the circle setting us up towards the field. Xavier, they've got plenty of areas to play, and Lamborghini moves further in.
Well, here we go. The crowd going ballistic off the back of the plays, trying to give that man energy in the moment. But the power is gone for now. The fight does not end there though. That was just a bullet point in this elongated bout that's been continuing for so long. You run into the burning building. The fireman maneuver, but he's not ready for the flames. The first man for Alliance suffers through his own fault on the engagement. TJB still looking to build back off of this one. Can they win out? It's a 1 versus 2, a duo versus a solo in very uncomfortable territory, and another third party rolls up. Reject, they've been taking fights from a distance, but now they want to show what they can do up close.
Regiocio blows onto the scene. Alliance, 2 members. Your Leons, the 1vx champion over in the group stage. Cluck as well, who's hit some nasty nades this tournament. Barely lives with his life there. Reject looking to clear them out, pick up this position for themselves. There's absolutely no teams around them, so this could be a Reject flush here. But Regiocio goes down. Cluck extremely low here, Jackie.
Cluck's clicking. Dealing damage, but the sideline works out well to be able to isolate the fight. He barely pulls back, trying to keep himself alive, but he's now just a bit of bait. Another way for you to reel him in. See if you can shut down versus what remains of Alliance, just the single solo. And TJB, similar scenario.
That's nasty.
Oh, up in the building, throws it up the stairs. Goodbye Alliance, as the might of them buckle under the pressure of Reject, and the last man from TJB still alive. 4 players from Reject remain.
Bao just patting only on his back right now. What a defense he's had from inside the building. The Guardian shield up, blocking any kind of approach towards him. Doc takes a Molotov, will back off for 4MV, but almost exposes himself. And once again, it's DRX, our current top dogs in the server right now.
Near miss on the nade. Keeping his belly down in the dirt. Taking little peeks for information where they present themselves. It's a rough fight. It would all go down to the timing of when he takes these engagements and potentially if a third party opens up an opportunity. Hello, Twisted Minds. They've moved in. They've got the vehicles in a bit of a split, but they're taking a ton of damage on contact. The vehicle goes bye-bye, and so do two of them, falling down to the ground. Buckling now as DRX are full focus on fighting through Twisted.
The M249, too much to handle there. As bullets rattle onto the floor, and Twisted Minds similarly look like they're going to be hitting the floor soon. Ratto Boy cleaned out. 2 players left alive, but directly moving in towards DX Xavier's purview. A dangerous opposition. Talon themselves a nice split themselves, but it's Alpha 7 who I've been looking at this entire game. They've had so much information, so many windows to play, and they've been vaulting through all of them. But it's only versus all of the players from TJP. So far, one's down. Pulls the pin on the grenade, that's dangerous. Swings back and forth, Zara takes him out finally. That looked bad though.
You could see the thought process, but the timing on it from Reject. Outmaneuver him, struggles to recover from the situation he was left in, and he goes down. DRX have moved up as well. Hearing the commotion, the dinner bell being rung by Reject. Meanwhile, the other teams that moved on out. Talon further back, playing with a nice split as well. Lamborghini trapped on his lonesome. Twisted Minds that had to bail out after their bout versus DRX that left them torn to pieces.
DX Xavier. Love this position for them with shadows all the way over on that eastern side, providing a little bit of that high ground support to the 2 players in Lamborghini and Paragin looking to hold out Talon. You'd love to see it, but DRX slowly working their way through this circle, working through the problem. And Reject, currently the problem that's in front of them. How do they solve this? How do they go about it? Obscure goes down. Just a shoddy there, and Divine tries to hit the shots. He's baiting out so much from him.
He's getting information, relaying it back to the rest of the team. Sniffed out the first player. More to be done though. IWNRX in the meantime take a heavy hit. Haven't had to say their name in a while, and we won't for the rest of this one as they go down. Out of the runnings, Talon starting to move up a little bit. They had that info onto Lamborghini so long and low. Oh, wait a minute. That's Ocio. He strikes again. They're still finding opportunities even mid-fight to steal elims.
Ocio finding the flow in the game. Nice nade over towards Talon from Yoru. Lamborghini will set that one straight. Has another nade, immediately pulls it. He knows the angle to go for. Oh, another!
The exchange of nades between these 2 teams. Lamborghini, it looks like he might want to actually move up on this, and the splash damage is a gigantic opportunity to potentially fight off the back of that. Misery, really feeling it now. This is going to be punishing. It's uncomfortable. Trying to decide if it's even worth going for a bit of a maneuver to get his teammate back up here. Meanwhile, boom, expire to the might of Alpha 7 that have been out of the fight for so long. Lamborghini does close the distance, but the crosshair honed in, and the hit connects from Misery.
Oh, it's a nice play from Lamborghini. You can see the thought process, but the execution, very bad. Last player alive is DX Xavier's Shadow, currently on the high ground, one of the only players left remaining in this position. So many solos, just trying to eke this game out. McGrellin's already made his way in towards that north side, giving the anchor point for the rest of the squads.
Only 2 squads at full power, Alpha 7 and Reject, but 2 very different setups from both of them. DRX went down to a 3-man unit. They've been playing on these angles. They were trying to be baited out into the initial warning shots that went across from Reject, but they're not falling for the same tricks anymore. Playing more of a 3-man setup in a line. So if there is a peak, they can trade for one another.
The best thing about, wow, right towards the center, and Alpha 7 has a killer position in the circle here. The difficulty for DRX is right now Reject's controlling a lot of the good cover Obviously, the hay bales that's already been picked up by DRX is going to be so important, but eventually, DRX is going to have to come out into open ground where Reject should be able to get some pretty clean shots off of them. This is a good read if he finds it, but switches the position too early. The airburst is way, way too short from Duello, and that's the last nade. At least he got the position baited out.
He overcooked it. But it could still be the start of the dinner that they're looking for. They've got smokes, got utility for the cross. They know there's so many angles they have to be switched onto at this point. There's no easy fights for Reject. You're going to feel uncomfortable due to the positions that are so close from DRX.
It's a big game, potentially, for Alpha 7. The jump towards that top side. Shadows just has such an insane position, but it's Reject getting taken down. Hyunbin, Soes, all just launching themselves upon Reject now.
They started to move out, and the second they do, they lose 2 men. They go from being in a good position in the battle of attrition to now starting to buckle. Oh, Divine, you do something delicious here. Dives in through the building. Doesn't expect the off angle behind the door. Easy clean up onto that one. Mop and bucket level plays. OCO, the only one that's left. Trapped so far away. A thin smoke blocking the vision. They get their bellies down on the ground. That's DRX now crawling forward. OCO, if he can spot him, maybe he can inflict some damage. Another fight breaks out onto Talon as well as Alpha 7 swoop on in and clean up that.
Alpha 7 just has this dead to rights here. Yocio tries to step up. Divine like a beeline over towards DRX. Couldn't handle him, but DRX starting to sting the opposition on the other side of the map. Up to 9 eliminations already. It is insane that DRX be able to keep this up. Hyunbin with a hell of a shot over towards Revo.
Oh, that is filth. The distance and the decisive blow that gives them time to play with. It's a 3-man squad, but they're playing with the might of a 10-man unit. Every single attack seems primed, and they know where Tianba are. They've got the vision honed in, looking for a peek on the left-hand side. First tag, start to strip his HP away, show a little bit of skin, and you are out of the game.
So close, almost on target. You can see him through the grass here. Takes the shots, and they're on easy mode right now for DRX. But 7 bullets remain. DRX might just be out of juice here. Revo tries to step up, but immediately gets stepped back down again.
Force off the same position he took the aggressive peak from last time. The Mini 14, taking pot shots and dealing huge damage. That's going to buy you time. Alpha 7 could split and move up somewhat, get an angle from the sideline here.
This should just be an Alpha 7 win, honestly. But DRX are making this so much harder than it necessarily needs to be. The shots they've hit, Alpha 7's looking a little bit scared on this one. Even if they do win the game, and they should, by the way, I think that they'll be feeling like, goodness me, this is one hell of an international lobby here. They do go for the outward split here. Very nice rotates from Alpha 7 all game. Similarly to DX Xavier, DRX has had some smooth moves. 13 bullets left in the chamber for Soes. Unlikely to get more done, and they probably will take the 3rd place just because Hygor has been able to get into that hay bale. They've got no smokes left.
Hardly anything to play with. Oh, that connection is really going to ruin them. You're just losing everything now. It's a matter of time, a formality before they expire. An Alpha 7 that have played a smart game, positionally been on top the whole time, look to take their head off, run away with the chicken dinner, and it is going to be the self-nade. Twisted Minds accept it, and Alpha 7 take a first.
Second one of the day for this team, and they are gunning for that top spot. It has eluded them for so long. They said they don't feel